Okay, it's a little after 1, so I'll call this meeting to order. We will have a roll call
Chairman Sparks.
here.
Mr. Bynum.
Here.
Mr. Moppin.
Here.
Mr. Strasser.
Here.
Dr. Reynolds. Dr. McDonough.
Here.
Mr. Watkins.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. We are missing one person this afternoon, Dr. Tanya Reynoldson. She had some issues and could not be with us. She's not on the phone either, so we will not have to have the roll call votes. When we vote, we'll be able to say aye and move on without going through that process. This is a very important meeting because we have a lot of things that we need to discuss and approve. And again, like always, I encourage the board members to ask questions of the people getting up and talking. If we can stump them on something, I'll be perfectly happy. But if we can stump them on something, it causes everyone to think about UT Martin and how to make it a better place. And what I'm going to do is assume that's my opening remarks and turn it over to Chancellor Freeman.
Well, thank you, Chairman Sparks. It is great to see all of you here, and this is usually a fun meeting for me, especially this time of the year, because it means we're also past the commencement ceremony. And we had, last figures I saw were a little bit over 700 students that were on the graduation roll for UTM. We held our commencement ceremony May 3rd. And it was an outstanding two ceremonies, standing room only for both. And it is, I say a lot, the best of who we are and the best of what we do. It is the reason why we come to work, is to see those students to graduate and reach their educational goals and then go off and do amazing, wonderful things. And so happy to have that piece done for the university, and excited for all of our graduates and their families and the celebration of commencement. So happy about that. Today you'll have an opportunity to hear and see some things about our budget, and part of the responsibility, one of the responsibilities for the advisory board is to approve this budget for the university. And so our Senior Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration is going to be here, and we'll present that budget to you to give you a chance to look at it and ask questions, and if I know Chairman Sparks, he'll be looking for all calculations to be absolutely correct. So you'll have a chance to see that information, as well as updates on our enrollment. I stand really, really thrilled about where we are right now in terms of university enrollment for this upcoming fall. We had a really big graduation, and so I'm always excited and nervous all at the same time, because you have to replace those graduates with others. And so I'm excited about where we stand, and we'll say that our new student freshman orientation start on Monday, so it gears all up again. Summer, there is no rest for the weary during the summer. So I'll stop there, and we'll have some additional comments as we go into the meeting.
Thank you, Chancellor. Something I should have done is obviously introduced Mr. Maupin. He answered the roll call, so I assume everyone knew he was here. He is coming in and replacing Johnny. And Jake, he is officially on the board now and a voting member, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I just wanted clarification on that. We certainly welcome you here, and again, we are cheerleaders for UT Martin. When we're out in the community, we answer questions, we try to encourage people to come to Martin. If we can ever get them to UT Martin, they'll stay. And that's one of our jobs, quite honestly, to do that. The first official business that we have is the approval of minutes, which are in tab 1 of your, and I think that they had been sent out before. In scanning them, are there any adjustments, amendments, additions, deletions that need to be handled?
I move we approve.
We have a motion to accept. Is there a second?
I second.
We have a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Ms. Destin, we're going to ask you to come forward and talk to us about enrollment and retention update. and exactly when we're gonna hit the 10,000 students.
And Destin will not tell you this, but I'm really proud of her because she just recently completed her doctorate, her PhD, from the University of Memphis, and so now she is Dr. Destin Tucker, so.
Dr. Freeman says that every chance he gets.
I
So
do.
I appreciate,
I love
I
it.
appreciate the support, and I'm grateful to be with you all this afternoon, and appreciate all the support that you give UT Martin, especially around enrollment. All right, so I'm going to touch on retention first, and then look at the undergraduate and graduate side of admissions. All right, so this number does fluctuate a little bit this time of year, but as of last week, we had 690 students who we graduated just a couple of weeks ago. These students are still turning in last-minute things, so it kind of goes up and down, up and down. I think we are closer to 700 as of today, but should have that number finalized over the next few days. We're really proud of that, and of course, just keeping this, as Dr. Freeman said, as a reminder in everything that we do. Our goal is to graduate students, and so that's why we work so hard on the enrollment side so that we can produce more graduates from UT Martin. On the retention side, I'm sharing a snapshot as of Monday of this week, and we are tracking very positively really in all areas. We had record first-year retention last fall, and so we are right there just a tenth of a point ahead of where we were this time last year on that metric. New transfer retention is 2 points ahead. This is an area of focus that our Student Success Center especially has made a priority over the past couple of years. We have someone designated as a transfer student success counselor. We've also enhanced some of our offerings for involvement around transfer students with National Student Transfer Week, and you can see that some of that hard work is paying off, because that is an area of growth and opportunity for us to improve the retention of our transfer students. And then our overall undergraduate retention is up 2.5 points at this time, and that is reflected in our overall enrollment for fall 2025 right now as far as class registration goes.
Destin,
Yes, sir.
back up. I may not be very good at numbers, but it looks like to me 82.6 down to 80.1. Are those numbers reversed?
Are they reverse, Brad?
Yes.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
bad. I'm sorry about that.
That's
Thank
all-
you.
That's all right.
I'm glad yes, we are definitely up in all areas. That is my
Okay,
fault. I
okay.
apologize. Thank you for
Hey,
catching
no,
that.
that's no problem at all. Wait till Petra gets up here.
On that first-time, full-time number, I just want to remind you all where we have come from on there. We did have record retention this past fall, and now we're really at a point where we're looking at pockets of students and where we can move the needle on kind of, different populations on our campus. This summer, we're piloting some bridge scholarship opportunities for first-year students. A couple years ago, we lowered the GPA requirement for students to keep their merit scholarship to a 2.75 across the board, which aligned with our Hope Lottery scholarship. And that was really a retention effort to try to help students stay enrolled at UT Martin and not let that be a barrier for them. Well, this year we decided to pilot some bridge scholarships for students who are still in good standing. So good standing for us is a 2.0 GPA. So students can graduate all day long with a 2.0 GPA. So kind of that minimum 2.0 to the 2.74. Those first-year students who lost their scholarships, we're offering them a $250 bridge grant for this fall semester, letting them know we still believe in them, we want them to come back, and we are giving them the opportunity to earn their scholarship back and connect them with advising and resources so that they can retake courses, pull up their GPA, and potentially earn that scholarship back. So that we offered that to 138 students just over the last couple of weeks, and are doing those outreach efforts now through the Student Success Center, through our financial aid office. So hoping that helps kind of keep us at that level and beyond. Any questions on the retention side?
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's very good.
All right, on the undergraduate admission side, we are looking really strong in terms of accepted students, students who have indicated they plan to enroll through our intent to enroll survey, as well as FAFSA filers. FAFSA is such an important indicator for us. Typically 98% of our first-year students submit a FAFSA. That's due in large part to the Tennessee Hope Lottery Scholarship requiring that FAFSA, but we know if students haven't submitted their FAFSA, they are very unlikely to come. So even if they tell us they're coming, but they have not sent us that FAFSA, they are very unlikely to come. And we are trending ahead of where we were 2 years ago on the FAFSA. Of course, last year was kind of a blip on the FAFSA radar that we don't talk about anymore, but we're really kind of comparing to 2 years prior to that. Where we have seen some decreases is on the housing application side. Housing did change their process this year, and so that's thrown off our point-to-point comparisons a little bit. That is just still one point of concern for us, just in the strength of our admit pool, but something we're tracking very closely, and we are up significantly over the prior year. So things are looking really positive and working towards that first-year student goal of 1,281 students, which is a 5% increase over last year. On the transfer side, we are a little bit slower to meet our goals at this point in the year. However, this is the time when transfer students really start applying heavily, sending in their transcripts once they have finished their other institutions, which is happening, over the last couple of weeks. We are also anticipating quite a few transfer athletes again this year, which really helped us push over the mark last year as well. Our goal here is 402 students. We are still seeing, even though our admitted students are down, our readmit students are down as well, more students have said that they're coming. So we are yielding much higher on the transfer and readmit side, but we are still not quite at our goal yet as far as in terms of intent to enroll. We're working really hard to do that. They do look strong from a FAFSA filer perspective as well. So feel like we still have some opportunities there to work towards that goal of 402 students. And on the international side, you may remember Dr. Freeman had put a goal, had us put a goal in the strategic plan to have 500 international students by 2030, and that's a big goal for us. And we're seeing some challenges currently with students getting visas approved, but we are still moving in that direction. And our goal is to have 25 students who are not receiving athletic aid, so basically 25 non-international athletes. And right now we have 10 of those students who have applied for this fall, and feel like we're going to maybe be close to that 25. We're working really hard to do that. Any questions on the undergraduate side? All right, and on the graduate side, great increases across the board. I mentioned, I think last time I was here, that we were doing some infrastructure changes on the graduate and international admission side, centralizing those operations. We have a new application, and we really just have the infrastructure to really communicate thoroughly from beginning to end with our graduate students now, thanks to the hard work of our enrollment communications area, as well as graduate studies and all of the graduate program coordinators, and getting that off the ground. We do have a goal of 179 new graduate students, and I'm confident that we are going to achieve that goal. Some of the changes that we've made on the graduate side, really we're trying to align with industry best practices. Students choose a graduate institution a lot differently than they choose an undergraduate institution. The studies tell us that students will usually go to the graduate institution that accepts them first. So having our efficient operations up and running is just very, very important, and able to let students know that, hey, we want you here, here's your next step, let's get you a class schedule, and move them through that. And we just really did not have the structure in place to do that on a broad scale until the past several months. And so we're going to be doing that, developing those robust communication plans, which many are already in operation, and we just launched that application in March. Our goal this fall, in tracking towards 10,000, is 7,946 students. And so that is based on our institutional research model of 5% increase each fall, 2% increase each spring, as well as a 5-year average of retention and progression rates to get us to that 10,000 students. I think the model shows that if we do those things, we'll have 10,030 students in fall of 2030. So that's what we're tracking towards. Are there any questions?
Dr. Tucker, congratulations.
Thank you.
Also, what are some of the efforts, what are some of the practices you're doing to try to get the goal of the international students? You don't have to go through all of it, but some of the highlights of that effort.
Sure. Yeah, we have partnered with an agency. They're based in Dubai. The UT Health Science Center also works with them. So we're kind of in a partnership with the UT Health Science Center along with this agent called Better Ways. That's our primary market right now for recruiting international students. So working really closely with our admissions processing teams. And then we have some other kind of grassroots efforts as well around marketing and just getting our name out there. We're really having to build the brand for UT Martin. Thankfully, we have the University of Tennessee brand, to kind of back us up, and with these partnerships with the Health Science Center as well, that's already established some name recognition there, is we're hopefully going to help us. But we have, it had been slower to come in than we had hoped. I think just given the changes around visa approvals, it may take us a little bit longer to get to our goal, but we are definitely still working towards that.
What are your barriers that you still have up there that you would like to get rid of if you could?
The barriers. I mean, for students, on the student side, just really helping them understand how financial aid works. And these are things that we continually, change about our communication plans and are trying to communicate that. But we have so many first-gen students who are just trying to navigate that for the first time. So really removing those barriers for students and making sure that we are providing all of the information they need in a format that is usable for them to see, I think is really important. So that's something we're continuing to work towards. A barrier, I would say, would be just reaching those adult learners, who have some college, no degree. We're doing a lot of things through university relations, through digital marketing, but somebody knows who these students are because the state talks about it all the time. And so we'd love to be able to have, know their names, know their contact information, really be able to provide some individualized outreach to those students to help us achieve our enrollment goals and just help, have more Tennesseans with college degrees.
Other questions?
Yes, I know it's within the university, and there's probably some people say you don't need to try to pull away from others, but with UT Southern, what are some of the goals, relationships you're trying to build there to get transfer students? And maybe go beyond UT Southern if you want to comment on other.
We haven't seen a lot of cross applications with UT Southern at this point, and so every fall after kind of everything census, all that things happen, we can send all of our students who are accepted to UT Martin through the National Student Clearinghouse to see where they went, and we're not having a lot of competition right now with UT Southern. For years and years, the #1 cross-app institution for us has been the University of Memphis, but the last couple of years, last year UT Knoxville passed University of Memphis and UT Chattanooga is first. So it's really shifted with the push for one UT, I think, where we are having more, I don't want to say competition, but it is a little bit of competition, but definitely cross-apps with our other UT institutions, and University of Memphis and Austin Peay have fallen to 3rd and 4th on that list. But we haven't seen a lot with UT Southern just yet.
And Dan, we had a UT Foundation Board meeting at UT Southern, and they were very receptive of working with Martin and sending students. I was very impressed with some of their ideas and their willingness to do that.
On the graduate side, you may have mentioned this, most of the graduate students receive their undergrad at UTM, or are they coming from other universities, or any trends you've noticed there?
Most of them are receiving their degrees from UT Martin. I actually just analyzed that through the clearinghouse just over the last couple of months, and the ones that have applied from other institutions who didn't enroll were just a couple here, a couple here. So a lot of them did receive their undergraduate from UT Martin. And part of our new outreach plans is we are going to be waiving the application fee for all UT Martin undergraduate students to apply to our graduate programs and really be specific about inviting them to apply. I think that's happened in classrooms with faculty, a lot of informal conversations, but now we're trying to make sure that it's widespread for all of our graduates, and that plan launches this week after we get these final graduate numbers and their contact information.
I may have missed it, but on the graduate program, is it somewhat saturated right now? I know that's, or what's the room for growth there in the graduate program?
Yeah, I would say the graduate programs are not saturated at all. And we are starting a Master's of Social Work program that's coming up. When I did the tour with Freeman all around West Tennessee and parts of Middle Tennessee, the one big program that folks kept asking was, when are you going to start a Master's in Social Work? So we've got that program off the ground. We've been working on our strategic enrollment plan for 2025 to 2030. And it will include some new programs as well. One of those is going to be, well, I should say a couple of those will be some new graduate programs as well. So I don't think the market is saturated at all. I think we have lots and lots of opportunity when you look at the percentage of Tennesseans who have an advanced degree. There is certainly great opportunity. I'll just, one comment on something that Destin said. I think the easiest folks to re-recruit are the ones who just graduated with a degree from your institution. Those are the folks that you want to encourage, not just to finish their education at UTM, but then look at what's next in terms of getting an advanced degree. So we have to make sure that that's really easy for them in the process that we do. They've been working on the infrastructure to be able to do that really, really well. That's encouraging, and we want to make sure that we're offering programs that sort of meet business and industry needs that are out there. The other piece to this that we're going to put a framework for working on. Lots of companies that are really close to us, business and industry, offer a benefit for employees to be able to come back to school. Well, what better place to come than UTM to come and finish your degree, in particular because of some of the online programs that we have that are available, and then for those who choose to drive to campus, they can do that as well in some of the face-to-face programs. So I'm optimistic about, what she's presented, where the numbers are, even the decreases so far are opportunities for increase in the future as we continue to develop this plan.
One more question, Mr. Chairman, and I'll be quiet. In the world of education outside of UTM, is there a correlation between having plenty of graduate programs and room for that, and so forth? Is there a correlation between the graduate programs and increased enrollment at an institution as well as retention, right? So if you've got great graduate programs, do you have that retention where they say, well, I can follow, I can go all the way
Yeah.
through?
Yeah.
Do those go hand in hand, or is there not a correlation?
Yeah, I would say there is absolutely a correlation. In programs where in institutions where you see strong graduate programs, you will see incredible undergraduate programs as well. So you want to have graduate programs and you anticipate that the retention for graduate students is going to be really, really high. Making a C is not acceptable in graduate school, and so you're going to have really good students who are participating. It typically means more research, more, students who are there, more opportunities for engagement with faculty, and so absolutely, when you have strong graduate programs, it feeds into strong undergraduate programs.
And I will add, currently, all of our graduate programs are 100% online. And the one that is full is counseling. That's the one that continues to be full year after year, and there's a lot more interest in that than we can accommodate. But Dr. Freeman's what we have plenty of room in most of the other programs.
Just what about your high school, your dual credits and everything? And what about your satellite centers? How are they doing?
Yeah, they're doing well. I mean, dual enrollment just continues to grow leaps and bounds. We're anticipating another increase this year. I believe we had around 1,800 students last fall in dual enrollment, and anticipate seeing even more that year this fall, according to Erica Bell's area. And the centers are doing well too. I know that Selmer had their largest freshman class last year there. I think they had around 30 or so first-year students, but of course, most of them are serving that non-traditional student population. And I know I heard a lot about the graduate celebrations they've had recently where a mom, came back to school because her son was enrolled at the Selmer Center. She ended up coming back to school, and then there they are graduating at the same time. So those really serve those communities well. But we do have room to grow at some of those. And through our strategic enrollment plan, we've talked about some different course offerings that we can have there in order to attract different degree programs and students who might be interested in some of our new degree programs.
What about Somerville and Blue Oval City? And I know they've had some slowdowns. What's happening there?
Yeah, that is one of the places we're looking to expand our new Bachelor of Applied Science degree and have the course offerings, hopefully, for there over the next several years as Blue Oval gets geared up. Their enrollment, I believe, is fairly stable right now, but we do see that will be an opportunity for us to grow total UTM enrollment through the Somerville Center and through Blue Oval.
Any other questions?
One quick question. I understand UT Knoxville is turning away students at capacity and all, but what's being done strategically to try to get those students that are turned away to consider Martin, whether they have previously or not?
Yeah, so we have something called the UT Access Collaborative. UT Martin has had this partnership with UT Knoxville ever since I've been here, which has been about 9 years. But they formalized that process this is the third fall that we've done this. where students who are waitlisted or denied to UT Martin that meet minimum criteria for UT Chattanooga, UT Martin, and UT Southern are offered an opportunity to start with us, come for 1 year, and then go back to UT Knoxville. UT Chattanooga has seen the bulk of those students. I think Dr. Van well over 100, I think, per year have taken part in that. Some of them are going back, some of them are choosing to stay. Us being 5 hours away, we got 6 the first year, 5 last fall is how many of those students we have. Most of those students are staying with us. They haven't gone back. I think we had 1 go back last year. This fall, currently, we have 11 students signed up for SOAR. UT Knoxville, though, will continue to kind of move through their wait list. So sometimes students will have everything done here, and then we admit them there, and they tell us to see you later. So, and that's okay, but that is a formalized process of trying to make sure that the interest at UT Knoxville that they cannot accommodate can be spread around some of the UT system. I don't think UT Southern's gotten any of those students yet, maybe 1, but yeah, once we get those names, we start recruiting them. We automatically accept them to UT Martin. They don't have to apply again. And of those 11 who are coming to SOAR, 5 or 6 of them had already been accepted to UTM before all that. So potentially 5 or 6 additional students as a result of that partnership. Of course, our goal is to keep them here. You know, once they come, we want to keep them here. It can, if we did have a large number, it could really hurt our retention rate. But we will do whatever, we'll serve them however they want to be served.
Appreciate it very much. Next up is Chancellor Freeman.
I think I'm gonna come up and do it from up here.
Not a problem.
Is it on the?
That way we can throw things at you.
Oh, don't throw anything at me. So the next piece of this is about the strategic plan, and it's sort of the ongoing steps around accountability for us around the strategic plan. At the last meeting, if you'll remember, you approved our strategic plan. It went on to the board in February and to the Board of Trustees, and then they approved it, and so it is now a effective plan that is in place. And again, it's called Watch Us Soar. Just as a reminder, I know you all memorized these, but just as a reminder, these are the 5 goals that were there. There are 5 goals, 24 strategies, and 55 targets connected to our strategic plan overall. Part of this is to have a plan that is living, that is vibrant, that is changing, that we are reporting on constantly. And so what I want to just share with you is the reporting piece of this. And this is just a sample of what the folks in institutional research. We have some incredibly smart folks who work in institutional research with us, and they are planning out a dashboard for us so that not only do we say we're going to get to 5% every year or 8% enrollment or whatever the chance may be, we're actually doing it. We're actually working on it. We're actually getting there. And so if you look at this sample dashboard, and this is just a screenshot of what we're planning to do, if you look at this actual dashboard, it will, across the very top, have tabs where you can click on each goal. And so looking at goal 1 through goal 5, you can also see from a information standpoint where we are in terms of first generation students or first gen students, Pell eligible students. If you continue to scroll down on that page, I think veterans is also there. There is an opportunity. We had some specific goals connected to the strategic plan on retention and enrollment for those specialized groups. You'll be able to see that. This is, and you can't see it very well, but that's green, red, and then there will also be yellow markers. Green will mean we are right on task and doing exactly what we need to do. And Ryan has it here as above target. The red means below target so that you can see that. And then where you see blue, it is to be determined. We have not been able to collect that information. And as much as I try to convince Ryan to make all of them green, he would not. So it is where we have not been able to collect information, and they will be marked blue as to be determined. The yellow ones mean that we are in progress, and so it is moving and going, and we're not quite there, haven't quite met the goal, that type of thing. So you'll see this as you go in terms of information for a dashboard for us in regard to our plan. I am serious about us meeting all 55 targets that are connected to this plan. This will hold us accountable and report the information out. So each time we come to the advisory board, we'll give you an update on where we are and kind of let you know what's happening so that you see where our progress is, and we'll share that information as we go.
Yancy, is that dashboard available to the public or just internal?
It will be, I think we said it was gonna be internal, didn't we?
So, no, it'll be public once it's completely built out, it'll be
Complete, yeah.
public.
Okay, okay.
And then this will provide additional information, so as you click on the tabs about above target or below target, this will give you additional information about what that means. So target growth is grow enrollment by 5% annually to reach the 10,000 student mark by 2030. So it will give you more intensive information about our progress or our goal overall for where we're going. So it will tell you, are we below, are we above? It provides additional information when you click on the link. So we didn't provide sort of a live view of this because it is a process right now. It is in process right now. We're working on it. As soon as we can get this up and available, we're happy to share this out and talk about the great things that are happening in terms of our strategic plan. Just emphasis to you though, that we are serious and accountable about meeting each one of those targets, each one of the metrics connected to the plan. And this will be our way of reporting that information out, not just to this board, but to the campus and the community overall about where we're going and what we're doing and if we've been able to be successful. I think that's it.
I will tell you that I think Hal might have been there, went to the Board of Trustees meeting when this thing was presented. And the Board of Trustees were very complimentary on Chancellor Freeman and the goals that he put together. And talking to some of the board members privately, they were, again, very complimentary because he had actually put in goals and measures to where it could be measured as success. Where some of the other campuses, especially the ones that did it early on, they were a little more vanilla, and the board really didn't want that. They wanted to be able to look at Chancellor Freeman and say, hey, you've reached this or you haven't. So they were very complimentary of the job that you did, Chancellor.
Thank you, and it was a campus-wide thing, and both Provost and Vice Chancellor Luter helped to chair that, but lots and lots of folks were engaged in it. I just had the opportunity to present it and look really cute while I was, no, just teasing.
Well, maybe not that, but
Yeah, okay.
when will this thing be live and complete?
We anticipate, Ryan anticipates it'll be maybe a couple more months to get it up and going. Our goal is to have it live maybe by the beginning of the fall semester.
Perfect.
We'll be able to update once we get to 14th day. We'll be able to update the enrollment numbers in here so that folks can see, did we meet our goals or not? Were we able to exceed them or not? It will give us demographic information like on veteran students. Did we get to where we wanted to be on veterans? And so some of the other initiatives that were connected to the plan will all be there.
Questions for Chancellor Freeman?
Well, Mr. Chair, if I could, I've told you, Chancellor Freeman, and Mr. Woolfolk was kind enough to provide some background information before I came on. I just want to say, I want to compliment on the strategic plan too. I've seen a lot of strategic plans, and this one is very workable, and it is going to be an asset to the university. So I just want to echo what you were saying, Mr. Chairman. This will be good for the campus.
Like I say, the Board of Trustees was very impressed.
It is impressive.
Yeah.
Well, I will just say for us, the number one question I've received is usually, okay, what's next? What are you doing, or what are you doing to us? And so we've put that in writing for you, for everybody to see what's next in terms of measures and where the campus will be in 2030. So, perfect. Oh.
Yes, sir.
Chancellor Freeman, I just have a quick question. I think I know the answer to this, but I just want to make sure.
Okay.
And that is, I think you're all right about, this is a great strategic plan. I thought so before, I still think it is. But we're gonna be rational when we assess this, right? Accountability is a great thing, but this international student growth, if things keep up like they are for the next, well, short period of time, we're not gonna be able to reach our goal there, and we're not then gonna come down on Dr. Tucker
Yeah.
and give her a hard time or anything for not reaching.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. McDonough. You're absolutely correct. Destin and I had a conversation about, do we leave the 5% goal there? And what we finally came down on and shared was, it's a BHAG. It's a big, hairy, audacious goal for us. Nothing stops us from continuing to try, and I've said to the campus before that it's okay if we don't get to every single goal, if we don't reach every single goal. It's just not okay if we don't try. And so we don't want to release any of the pressure on trying to get there, and we will do that. But understand that there are market forces that are beyond UT's control. And so there may be things that happen to us that we're not able to prevent or do anything about. And that will be okay. That'll be okay as we continue to think about what happens. It is probably, out of all of the things in the strategic plan, it is the one that worries me the most, just because of some of the external things that are happening. But if we get 15, 20, 25 students this fall, it will be 15, 20, 25 more than we had the last fall, and I will be happy with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I would rather have goals that we get close to than ones that we reach every time. And I'll give you an example. Again, at the UT Foundation, we were asked to vote on what the goal is for an investment return. And I was sitting there thinking about, how things are going, and before I knew what happened, somebody made a motion that we continue to expect a 4% return on your money. And I'm sitting there thinking, you can almost take that money and put it in a CD and draw that. That's not really very aggressive. But the people were able to come back and say, look at us, we got a 5.5% return. Didn't we do a great job? I thought to myself, I wish we had said it at 6 or 7 or 8. And then when they came back next year and it's only 6.5, that's still better than 5.5.
Right.
Any way you go. So goals, if he meets every one of these goals, then I will look at him and say, you didn't set them high enough.
Fair.
I mean, that's the way it is.
Absolutely fair.
And if you reach the goal, then I do not want to become satisfied, which is people have a tendency to do. Any other questions? It's like Hal in ag sales. If he reaches his goal in the first 3 days, he doesn't do anything for the rest of the And I'm kidding there. Petra. Hey, I've added things up, Petra. Everything's lovely.
Okay. I also have 10 keys in addition to my spreadsheet, just to make sure, so. Well, we'll go ahead and get started with our budget overview. I will point out, and get started with, the revenue, because that drives what our budget is. We continue to have our largest source of revenue as tuition and fees, followed by the state appropriations. For FY 2026, we anticipate a $141.5 million budget. The usage of those dollars would be tied to our salaries and benefits at 61%, which is our largest expense, and then our operating budget is at 39% of our expense budget. To kind of delineate a little bit more about what we have in the budget, our state appropriation increases are $1.5 million. As you will see in the funding formula, our outcome growth and the formula performance netted at about $0, because we had a decrease in our growth, and then our performance was right at the 0.5 million, at $500,000. Now, our funding formula is tied to a 3%, a 3-year average, rolling average, based on performance of several different metrics. And this is kind of our net number. Where we did see growth or we received allocation is for our salary pool and benefits. But you have a question?
Yeah, the growth, that's not just in number of students, right?
No, there are a number of different milestones.
Okay, because I knew we went up, yeah.
Right, we had, like, for instance, as students reach 30, 60, 90 hours, or the number of master's degrees we have, or the number of students per 100. Those are just some of the ones that we have. And then there are premiums at different points for those people as those progressions are made. But again, when we have like larger classes that graduate and as people move through those numbers, then oftentimes because of the 3-year average, we may have a dip, but we anticipate that we'll have growth in future years.
And because it's a 3-year rolling average, if you have one blip, it brings that average down until you can work through it, so, I mean.
And you had been here for 3 years, right?
That's
So
true, there you go.
Okay, that answers that, thank you.
Okay, and so just one of the things that I also would like to share is that the salary pool that they provided funding as a 2.6 pool of money, this is only a portion of the amount that we would need. It's $1 million that they have provided in the appropriation, but 1.5 is approximately how much we would need for salary and benefit increases at the 2.6%. Moving on to some of our initiatives and investments. The salaries and benefit increases would include the 2.6% pool. It also includes like faculty promotions and health insurance. We also allocate funds for fixed costs. Some of those would include ITS contracts, athletics officials, property insurance. Those will be examples of that. We are making an investment in our scholarships and waivers. That would be for academic, merit scholarships, grant and aid, and fee waivers. Anytime we increase our tuition and fees, the fee waivers would increase by that amount of money. But also on the academic merit, we are just trying to right-size the investments or some of the programs that have already been started, and it's somewhat of a catch-up mode in addition to anticipating the growth that we will continue to have with scholarships. There are a few new positions and benefits that have been made in investments. That would include in such areas as grounds, just to make sure that we're able to keep up. We did receive feedback for how our grounds look, so we had to make investments there for that. HR employee relations person, and then we're also partnering with Weakley County Co-op because we also have a shared veterinarian faculty position. That's a part of that investment. Additionally, and Dr. Tucker mentioned this earlier, but we have an enrollment and communications operations area. It's a new office that's been restructured, and it also includes our international recruitment, so we had to make an investment there. So $5.3 million is the amount of our incremental increase for FY26. And that includes, if you kind of think back to our tuition and fees and our state appropriations, $3.87 million is the tuition and fee increase, and $1.5 million is the state appropriation increase. So just to talk a little bit about what our plans are for tuition for the coming year. For our undergraduate, and for across all of our programs, we're looking at a 3% increase in our maintenance fee, also otherwise known as our in-state. And we are also reestablishing an international out-of-state rate. That also goes along with our intention and partnership to drive and increase our international student population. The way that we set the rate is at 200% of our in-state rate, and this is in conjunction with the methodology the UT Health Science Center used, and at their suggestion, and just an alignment for that, so that we're able to provide scholarships, which also often appeals to prestige in some of our international arenas, and then also to support the international recruitment efforts. The amounts that you have here are reflective of undergraduate rates, but it would apply to both undergraduate and graduate, eventually for the graduate. One of the things that I would like to highlight is that we don't have any increases in our mandatory fees. So fortunately, that means that we have a net increase for tuition and fees at 2.5% for the undergraduate tuition and fees. So that is a real effort by Chancellor Freeman and the senior leadership team to try to ensure that we are really examining the fee increase that come before us and try to make sure that we have affordable tuition and fees for our students while we're here. There are two course fees that are new, and then we have one course fee that is something that is more of a changing of which courses are tied to it. So the net effect of that is 0. But we do have two course fees that are coming out of veterinary technology that would allow students to cover their national exam with financial aid. They are already paying for it, but this would allow it to be a fee that is applied with financial aid, and it goes towards that. And then additionally, we would also want to cover rabies vaccinations. Again, they're covering these things, but this allows it to be assessed by the university, and financial aid is able to apply towards that. The next slides are just actually comparing our proposed tuition rates for the undergraduate to our approved peers. We are looking at being kind of right at in alignment with our peers, and we're just below Coastal Carolina and also below Northwest Missouri State. These are also things that we look at for out of state, and as you'll see, we're low, comparatively low in the middle of the pack for our out of state undergraduate. As I mentioned, we also have our international rate, and you will see there, we're also in the middle of the pack for our international rate for undergraduate students. We also compare our rates to our aspirational peers. Again, those are also ones that have been approved by the board. And we are just below Stephen A. Austin State University. So we're kind of at the top of those rates, but there's not much fluctuation in the amounts that we have there. Again, looking at out of state and international, we are also aligned with our peers for our aspirational. So moving on to kind of the chart that is more or less the recommendation that I am seeking from you all. Just going through our rates, as you will see, there's a 3% increase in our undergraduate maintenance fee as well as our graduate maintenance fee. But the undergraduate tuition and mandatory fees and graduate tuition and mandatory fees are 2.5% and 2.6% respectively. Our dual enrollment is a rate that is set that aligns with how much TSAC does for our grant there. So that rate has not been approved, but we are just applying a 3% increase to it until we actually receive that rate. And then also, the recommendation that I'm also seeking from you is pertains to our undergraduate, our unrestricted, and also includes our restricted funds at $183 million for both our revenues and our expenditures and transfers totaling the same amount. Are there any questions about either one? Because both of these would require some action.
You know, we hear about the cuts in the research budgets. I know President Boyd has talked about that at Knoxville. Have you seen much of that here, or?
Fortunately, we have not received many. I believe we have 3, is that right, Delisha? We have 3 grants that had cuts, but there has not been a significant impact to the budget.
That's a question I had too. Do you anticipate more? And is that figured into the proposed budget?
We do not anticipate more. We did not project a growth in the research for that reason, but we don't anticipate there being significant changes. Of course, the climate will determine if we have that.
Any other questions?
I guess I just have a small one, I think, Petra. There isn't any sometimes there's a mandate coming down from the university or from the governor saying there aren't gonna be any tuition increases. There isn't anything like that obviously wouldn't be increasing it if there was, but you don't anticipate any problems with getting this through.
No, we are proposing tuition and fee rates that are below the THAC recommended range, and so we're well within that. We're well below that range. I believe the highest is 5%, so it's a range of 0 to 5.5.
Thank you.
Jake, do we have to have a vote on this?
Yes.
Okay. Then, if there, do I have a motion to accept this operating funds budget?
So,
First and a second. Is there any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Perfect. In tab 5, we have a new student representative coming on board. And her resume is in there and looks to be quite extensive. Chancellor Freeman, would you like to say anything about Darby?
Yeah, I am excited to present Darby Self to you. She could not be here with us today. I think she is doing a study abroad experience in Paris. Okay. I knew she was in some foreign place that I am not. So she is doing a study abroad appearance right now. She is a member of our University Honors Program, is a member of the Student Government Association, and a very active student at UTM. And so I am thrilled to present her as a member of this advisory board, and would ask your approval of Darby and her ability to serve over this next year.
We're only about an hour away from Paris.
I don't think it was that Paris.
Okay.
How are they selected? You brought
They're-
exceptional students.
yes,
I was just
yeah.
wondering, what's the selection
There
process?
is a process that happens through the Student Government Association where students are nominated and selected, and then we haven't, well, I should say Dr. McDonough and I had an opportunity to interview the 3 top candidates who were forwarded to us as candidates for the role, and Darby was the person that we thought would best fit and meet the requirements for this role.
She seems exceptional.
She does.
I know we did it in there, but I'd like to take just a minute to thank Kyle. Mr. Watkins here is an exceptional young man. I've been pleased to serve on this board with you and look forward to what you're going to do in the future.
And remind him that we still have meetings here that you can come to.
That's right.
And if you have any questions, we would be more than happy. But Dan's exactly right. You've been an exceptional member, and everything I see and read about you, as Yogi Berra said, your future's in front of you. So I think you will do well, my friend.
Yes, sir. I just want to say thank y'all for, one, allowing me the opportunity to be on this board this past year, and kind of working with you as I traveled abroad last semester. So I really appreciate the experience that I've had. I think y'all do really great speaking on Darby, I know Darby very well. She's gonna do great work if y'all do approve her, and I think she'll be good.
Sounds like a motion.
I think we have a motion. Is there a second to accept Darby?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
How come the student members get to go abroad and the advisory board members do not? I'm just asking, I'm not trying to create any problems.
That's all right.
I brought up, and that's sort of pointed, that I brought up at one point in time of us meeting of some of our satellites, but it's been pointed out to me that unbelievably within the law, it says we have to meet in Martin, Tennessee. So, as much as I would like for us to have gone to a Selmer or Somerville or something like that, this is where we are. Of course, I still say, how would they know, but I'm not gonna get into that. Chancellor Freeman, do you have anything that you would like to add?
I do. I have a few things that I want to just share with you as well as we kind of go through this. First and most of all, I will extend my thank you publicly to Kyle Watkins and also Johnny Wolford. We had an opportunity to say our thank you to him before, but their dedication to this committee, to this advisory board has been exemplary, and I'm really excited about what comes next for them, and so thank you for that service. I am equally excited to have Stephen Maupin here. He has been a friend since I landed in Martin, and so it is great to have him join us as a UTM alum and very active and engaged person in our community. We're looking forward to your continued engagement with this advisory board as well, so thank you, Stephen. Just some updates on some things that are happening on campus. There are a number of capital projects that are happening. I told Bud we are getting ready for the next publication, and he said, what would you like the name of it to be? And I said, we should probably call it Pardon Our Dust, because there is a lot of capital projects that are coming along, and so I'm gonna quickly update you about those. And please stop me if you have any questions about anything that I'm sharing with you. First up is Hall Moody. It is in phase 2, phase 3 of the project. I need Dana Hagan here to kind of help, but it's in phase 2, I'm gonna say 2, of the project. Originally, when we started, we were gonna do half of the building and then move occupants back in and finish the other half. We were able and successful enough to get the additional funds to complete the building. So instead of moving folks back into an active construction zone, we decided to keep everybody out and just complete the building. It is going well. The first phase is on task and on plan to be completed. Second phase is going to start this summer with a anticipated completion date of Q1 2026. So we anticipate that sometime in the spring we'll be able to get back in that building. We've not identified a final date of what that looks like yet, but it'll be at least ready, and the fencing and everything will be down by that point. So we are there. I had the pleasure of signing another agreement with Nashville State Community College in Waverly, and I'm honored and thrilled to be able to do that. We are, I think Dr. Tucker mentioned that we're not competitors, we are collaborators. This gives us another opportunity to collaborate with one of our community college partners. This one in Nashville, this was at the Waverly campus, Waverly, Tennessee campus. We are gonna offer agricultural business there. It's a 1+3 program. They will teach the first year of courses, usually general education courses, and then we will teach the next 3 years of major and related courses to offer the agriculture, the business agriculture program there. I think and hope that it will be the first of many opportunities for us to expand in Middle Tennessee, and I'm just telling you, East Tennessee should watch out because we're coming their way as well. But this gives us a real chance and another footprint to offer an ag degree in a rural community, much like we do with the regional centers that are out there. So we signed that, and I'm over the moon excited to have been able to do that with President Shauna Jackson of Nashville State Community College. So you'll hear more about that as we go. We have a couple of other sort of things around capital projects. the College of Business and Global Affairs, if you have not heard, you have not been listening, because I've been screaming it as to anybody who will listen, that building has been funded. We have a designer selected for it, and so that project is starting to move. It will be a state-of-the-art facility that really, in all intents purposes, matches the quality of education that we provide to our students within the College of Business and Global Affairs. We will have a building to match. There's going to be a lot of dust to go until we get to that place, but that process is going to start very soon around design, and I am, venturing that we're going to have learning in mind when we do the design and programming for that building as we go forward. So excited about the College of Business and Global Affairs building. The Test Hub, Tennessee Entrepreneurial Science and Technology Hub, we are going to hopefully break ground on it. I hope we can get closer to the end of the summer when we break ground on it. We had a ceremony when the board was here in February, and we are getting really close to being able to officially break ground on that area. If you don't know where it is going to be, it'll be right behind the campus rec building, and so it's an $18 million project there. That will be the hub of innovation, technology for our campus. It's a partnership with Dyersburg State Community College and the TCAP McKenzie, and so it is the first of that type of partnership that I am aware of in the state of Tennessee, but it brings all three institutions together. And I'm hoping that we get patents and everything, because it will have some maker space in that space, an area for them. And then finally, we are continuing to address, when Chairman Sparks asked about barriers, one of those major barriers is around housing. Because even at a 4% decrease in housing applications, it's still well above the number of beds. We still have applications well above the number of beds that we have overall. And so we have to address the housing issue that's there. The housing programming process is near completion. If it's not complete, it's almost there.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
We're close to moving in this schematic design.
So we are really close to that process and should see some real movement. It is going to be at the site and on the location where Browning Hall is right now, and we will have to demolish that building. It's at the end of life, and so y'all can all take a collective sigh about demolishing it, but we'll demolish that building, and the new residence hall will be on the site of where Browning is right now. Will be a 400-bed new facility for majority are going to be first-time freshman students, and we're thinking living learning communities that are going to be housed in the new facility in that new building. So very excited about that as well. There are some leadership transitions that are happening at UTM, and while it is sad to see those folks who have served with dignity and with integrity and with excellence, it provides some new opportunities for us as well as we kind of go forward. I want to stop for a second and just acknowledge some of those leadership transitions that are going to occur for our campus. We have just hired a new human resources director, Andrea Yanego. Thank you, Petra. Yanego. She is going to start July 1, and so she is an outstanding person comes out of Minneapolis, and so she'll be here. Came highly regarded, and looking forward to getting her here on campus as we continue to build on a department that literally touches every single area, every department on our campus when you're talking about human resources. So having a strong human resources area means that you have really good employee engagement and happy employees. So Andrea will be here. I'm excited about that. Our dean, Ahmad Tatunchi, who I think is here. Oh, there he is. He is retiring, and so I want to also publicly say to Dr. Tatunchi, he has been a gentleman and a scholar all in one in the efforts that he's done in terms of his ability to engage the advisory board with CBGA. This building that we are now sort of enjoying, and I get to brag about, was his brainchild with that advisory board in terms of the work. that they did, and they just recently celebrated full reaffirmation of AACSB, which is the highest acclaimed accreditation status for colleges of business across the country, maybe even across the world. And so it was all under his leadership that we have been able to do that, and so I owe him a debt of gratitude for the work that he's done. And if I can just, let's give him a round of applause. So thank you, Dean, so much for that work. We also have, and she is not here, Dean Cindy West, who is a 30-year person who has been with the university. She is the Dean of the College of Education, Health, and Behavioral Sciences. She has indicated that she is going to retire, and she said either I'm going to retire in July or December, but I am going to retire no matter how much I put my hands behind my back and would not accept her resignation letter. She did it anyway, and so we are going to launch a search for both of those dean positions in July, with a hopeful field time of a start time for the two new deans in January. Some of you may know Dr. Joey Melhorn, who serves and works as an ag business faculty member right now. He is going to serve as the interim dean for the College of Business and Global Affairs, and so he's going to do that process. And Cindy West is going to still be here. We were able to talk her to stay until December, and so hopefully we'll have the permanent appointment of the new dean for Health, Education, and Behavioral Studies by the time we get to that January timeline. So those are really big hires. And then finally, I will say our provost has, I am thrilled for him that he has accepted the role. He's been appointed and accepted the role as president at Kutztown University in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. So, Mr. President, congratulations to you for the work that you've done. I think Phil has been here seven years. Okay, so over the past 7 years, he has served with integrity, and I appreciate the work that he has done over the last 19 months that I have been here. He really has been here and allowed me to get acclimated to the campus and to figure out, what was going on. And he served as the interim chancellor after Chancellor Carver's departure back to UTIA. And so I am thankful for Phil and the relationship, and wish him really a lot of goodwill and great luck and prayers and thoughts as he steps into this new role. So let's give Phil a big round of applause. Likewise, we have Whit Kiefer, who's going to help us with the dean searches. The executive search firm with the UT system is going to help us with the provost search. And I am going through a process now of selecting what I am calling a transitional provost. I didn't put interim on it. Transitional for me means we do not let up on the gas at all. We continue to go, and so this person is going to have full authority and responsibility to make decisions as the provost for our campus as we look to meeting the goals for the strategic plan and other things that need to be done for the campus going forward. So we will do that. The last update that I have, and I'll stop and take questions from anything that I've said or anything else you want to ask, is don't look now, but it is the 125th anniversary of our beloved campus. So we started in 1900 as Hall Moody Institute, and through the evolution of several different names are now where we are today. And we are going to find a time and a space in this next academic year to have a couple of parties to celebrate. You don't turn 125 every day, so we're going to find a couple of opportunities to have a formal program to recognize the 125th anniversary, and then we're going to find a way to do a party at some point during the academic year to celebrate 125. So look forward to getting an invitation from that, and would love to have you here on campus and engaging with us as we celebrate an incredible milestone for the university overall. And from there, Mr. Chairman, I'll stop and happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Chancellor Freeman? Do you have any expected dates for the School of Business building when it will be completed? Any wild guesses? the dorm or the test hub?
Yeah, so what we think for the College of Business is gonna be fall 29 would be the anticipated date. For it, we are anticipating that fall 28 for the residence hall is
Good.
going to be the anticipated date for that. And then we think sometime perhaps late fall 27, maybe into 28 for the test hub completion of it. We've had a little bit of a delay. I'm looking at Peacher to confirm this. We hear this every month, but I have not always committed it. She says one date and I say a date that's like much earlier, so. But we think it's gonna be late fall 27, maybe into 28 for the test hub as well.
If you add 400 beds, how many beds will UT Martin have then?
We will stay close to what we have now. So
Because you're
this is
eliminating-
we're replacing beds.
Okay.
currently there.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions?
We will gain some beds because we don't use all of the beds we only use about half the beds in Browning now. And so we'll pick up 70 beds on what we currently have.
And aren't you gonna do some improvements to the other Y dorm?
We have some other things planned that expand our housing in our current buildings.
Okay, good,
And in the community hub.
good, good. Any questions?
Comment,
Yeah.
on behalf of the board, I want to extend my condolences and sympathy for the passing of Ms. Reams.
Yes.
I know that's a sad note of news, and wanted to extend that to her husband, Dr. Reams, and the whole faculty.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, thank you.
Anything else? Only thing I have is, and Kurt McGuffin is not here. Had he been here, I was gonna congratulate him on two things. Number one, he was the chairman of the NCAA softball committee and has been the guy that has worked through the seeding of the softball and the tournament that starts this weekend, or this week, I believe. And I'm sure he made every team in America happy. I'm sure there were absolutely no complaints, but my hat's off to him because that brings some notoriety to UT Martin. Most importantly, and I got a news release this morning at 9:22 to tell you the truth. UTM has a little over 400 athletes, okay? 290 of those athletes had 3-point or above, and 94 of those athletes had 4-point or above. That's unbelievable. They accounted for a 3.37 grade point average, which marks the 11th consecutive semester that we produced at least a 3.2. We only had one sport that was below 3.15, and it was like 2.95 or something like that, which is excellent. You know, the advertisements you see on TV that 99% of the students will go pro, but in something other than sports, they're getting an education here at UT Martin, and that's the purpose of UT Martin. And my hat is off to the athletic people for not only recruiting good people that can play athletics, but can also academically do well. And I'm not even mentioning the fact that we won the 4th consecutive OVC football championship and have done well in other sports. So, had Kurt been here, I probably wouldn't have said that much good stuff about him.
Yeah.
Since he's not, I thought I'd go ahead and do that. Are there any other things that need to be brought before this board? Any new business? Hearing none, I will accept a motion that we adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Well, there is no discussion on that particular motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Again, I want to thank everyone for your time and effort. And you especially. But you're out of here.